Around 2 a.m. this morning, Pennsylvania State Police say a 38-year-old named Cody Bomber from Harrisburg, PA, breached the fence outside of the governor's mansion, then proceeded to break into the mansion where Governor Josh Shapiro and his family were sleeping. According to the police, Bomber was inside the mansion for less than 1 minute, but methodically set homemade incendiary devices to burn the mansion with everyone still inside. Bomber is then accused of fleeing the mansion and escaping until later today when the Pennsylvania State Police found him and district attorneys charged him with attempted murder, terrorism, aggravated arson, and aggravated assault against an enumerated person. He may also be facing federal charges, but luckily, the state is charging him on a state level, so no president could pardon him for his violent actions against a Democrat. While there are photos of Cody Bomber circulating online, we chose to not share any of them, as they could not be verified at this time. And frankly, even if they could be verified, we do not wish to give any infamy to a person who chose violence over peaceful protest. This is yet another escalation of violence in the United States, where if you don't agree with a politician, peaceful protest is ruled out and someone will choose violence, which we cannot condone in any way, shape, or form. It is not okay when someone does it in Butler, PA at a Trump rally, and it is not okay when someone sets the governor's mansion on fire in Harrisburg, PA. At this time, reactions online are wild, with many on the right saying Josh Shapiro set to fire himself to make his family and him look like the victims of Trump violence. For the record, this is not true, and just an excuse the far right has come to believe on any action befalling someone on the left. Whereas many on the left are saying Josh Shapiro deserved this violence because just last night he celebrated Passover with his family in the governor's mansion. And according to the left, Shapiro somehow condoned the actions by Israel defending itself against terrorist groups, by Shapiro saying there needs to be a two-state solution in the Middle East in the run-up to the 2024 election. For the record, this two-state solution is something politicians on both the left and the right have been saying for decades as the solution to the Middle East. Let me make this clear. The governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, a state, has absolutely no power over foreign policy, let alone the power over Israel's actions and right to protect itself from terrorist organizations. Even if Shapiro did have such power, violence against a politician should never be the answer. And to say Shapiro set the fire himself to make himself look like a victim is the craziest thing I've heard all week, and I just spent the last week in Rhode Island at an insurance convention. But there is absolutely no indication yet from the Pennsylvania State Police on where this accused arsonist takes inspiration or why he did his actions last night. There is absolutely no verified evidence of anything yet, so everything is just theories of why it happened. We now go live to Harrisburg, PA, where Governor Josh Shapiro and state authorities are outside the governor's mansion to give a brief statement and answer a few questions about the attack. I will warn you that some of the images of the building are alarming, so they might be triggering to some, but we'll preface this by saying everyone got out of the mansion safely last night with no physical injuries, and they are recovering from their mental trauma at this time.
Last night, at approximately 2 o'clock in the morning, while my family and I were asleep upstairs here at the governor's residence, one of the state troopers assigned to our detail banged on our door, woke us up and told us we had an emergency and needed to leave immediately. Together, we secured all of our children, our 2 dogs, our family that was staying with us, and the troopers safely evacuated us from the governor's residence. Last night, we experienced an attack not just on our family, but on the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania here at the governor's residence. I want to thank the Pennsylvania State Police for safely evacuating our family, for their bravery last evening, and for their careful leadership of this investigation. I want to thank Harrisburg Fire and their chief, who was personally on the scene and spent time with me and my family last night. He and the other firefighters from Harrisburg ran toward danger to help keep us safe and quickly putting out the fire. I want to thank the Capitol Police for assisting the Pennsylvania State Police last night in ensuring everything was orderly. I want to thank the FBI and our federal partners for their assistance. I spoke a couple hours ago with Director Kash Patel of the FBI. He promised all of the resources of the federal government. He was extremely kind and courteous and thoughtful in his conversation with me. And I thanked him and the women and men of the FBI and the President of the United States for their support. I especially want to thank your local district attorney, Fran Chardo. Fran is someone I've known for 20 years in public service, an outstanding leader in law enforcement. You'll hear from him in a few moments. Lori and I are overwhelmed by the prayers and the messages of support that we've received from all across Pennsylvania and all across the United States. We've heard from our fellow governors and first spouses. We've heard from several of the former governors of Pennsylvania. We've heard from so many friends and loved ones. And we've heard from so many caring citizens of this great Commonwealth. I want you all to know that your prayers lift us up. And in this moment of darkness, we are choosing to see light. And we appreciate the light that you have shined upon us. Pennsylvania State Police, led by Colonel Christopher Paris, will brief on the specifics of what transpired. But we do know that this attack was targeted. We don't know the person's specific motive yet, but we do know a few truths. First, this type of violence is not okay. This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society. And I don't give a damn if it's coming from one particular side or the other, directed at one particular party or another, or one particular person or another. It is not okay. And it has to stop. We have to be better than this. And we have a responsibility to all be better. Second, if this individual was trying to deter me from doing my job as your governor, rest assured I will find a way to work even harder than I was just yesterday for the good people of Pennsylvania. Here's a third truth. If he was trying to terrorize our family, our friends, the Jewish community who joined us for a Passover Seder in that room last night, hear me on this. We celebrated our faith last night proudly, and in a few hours we will celebrate our second Seder of Passover again proudly. No one will deter me or my family or any Pennsylvanian from celebrating their faith openly and proudly. I am grateful to the good people of Pennsylvania for giving me the honor to serve as their 48th governor. I will continue to pour every ounce of my being into this work. I'm going to do my best to be your governor, and right now to be a good husband and father to my family, who are obviously traumatized by what occurred here last night. We are grateful to law enforcement for helping ease some of that trauma thanks to their outstanding work. They were here within seconds, and they did an extraordinary job. Local, state, and federal law enforcement partners. I now want to bring up the Colonel of the Pennsylvania State Police to give you some specifics on the investigation, followed by our District Attorney, Fran Chardo, and then we'll do our best to take a few questions.
Thank you, Governor. I'd like to begin by saying, on behalf of not only the Pennsylvania State Police, but all of our partners, federal to municipal, that our hearts and prayers are with you and your family during this very trying 14-plus hours. I'd like to start off by preemptively offering that this is still very early in a very active and dynamic investigation. And I can tell you that we're pursuing any and all leads. We have processed the crime scene and released it just recently. You will see imminently how large and complex of a scene that it is. Physical evidence has been gathered and is in the process of being forensically analyzed, both at the State Police Crime Laboratories and also the Cumberland County Crime Laboratory, and I'd like to mention them specifically. As the governor stated, the work done by Harrisburg Fire Department was absolutely instrumental in preventing any loss of life last evening. To acknowledge again the Harrisburg Police and the major case team that the State Police was able to put together. So to pause for a moment, that was comprised of and remains comprised of the Harrisburg Police Department, the Capitol Police, our partners from the FBI. I received multiple calls from the FBI SAC of Philadelphia, who happens to be out of country, and yet he took the time to call, as well as his assistant special agents in charge, who are not only here with us, but we've spoken to throughout this incident. I received a call personally from the Attorney General with an offer of any and all support. Received a call personally from the U.S. Attorney acting for the Middle District of Pennsylvania, John Greganis, offering any and all support of the U.S. Attorney's Office. And as the governor said, who you will hear from shortly, the Dauphin County District Attorney, Fran Chardo. So I can confirm at this point, as we put out already, we are conducting an arson investigation, and we are conducting an attempted homicide and aggravated arson investigation. That is the paradigm that we've operated in. A lot of the investigative tasks have focused on the who up until this point. Obviously, we're trying to piece together very early on the exact sequence of events. We were late in coming out here because we were getting rapid information as it was occurring, and I'm pleased to announce that we do have an individual in custody. His name is Cody Balmer, B-A-L-M-E-R, age 38, with a Harrisburg post office address. In terms of the sequence of events, because of the thrust of the investigation concentrating on the who, I want to be very deliberate in my comments as to the how and exactly the time frame. What I do feel confident in saying at this point is that we don't anticipate any charges for conspiracy, but again, I'd reiterate my qualifier that I mentioned earlier, that we are still very much inside the first 24 hours. But at this point, we do not anticipate that. Likewise, the quick action of the members of the governor's detail, not only his immediate family, but some extended family members who were here. You will see from the physical plant behind me how grave the situation was. And when this occurred, I will tell you, again, the exact sequence of events. We will conduct a full review, but I feel very confident in telling you that it occurred over an extremely brief period of time, several minutes. And the quick action of those troopers last night immediately shifted to the safety of the governor and his family and his extended family. So we will certainly take a look and have a full, competent, and thorough investigation, but our hats are off to the quick action of all the first responders, not just within the state police, but as the governor said, Harrisburg Fire Department, who was instrumental in getting here quickly and getting the fire knocked down. We have kept tabs on the governor all day and will continue to do so. And at this point, I'd like to turn it over to District Attorney Fran Chardo.
We have, as the Colonel indicated, Cody Balmer is in custody. We are preparing a criminal complaint to charge him. This is not a record yet, but the charges will include attempted murder, terrorism, aggravated arson, and aggravated assault against an enumerated person. These are all very serious charges. As with any charges, the defendant is presumed innocent. We will file those charges within the next several hours, and we will include a probable cause affidavit which will detail the basis for this arrest. I can't give you a lot of details because it won't be of record. I can only give you the charges, but the criminal complaint and the affidavit will detail that further this very day. I want to commend the Pennsylvania State Police, the Capitol Police, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the other agencies that conducted this investigation. I was here this afternoon and witnessed the remarkable efforts. They did a great job in bringing this to a swift conclusion. And I'll tell you that they do this in every case that I work with them on, not just cases involving the governor. In every case, we are blessed to have great law enforcement agencies that work diligently in cases involving serious violence. As I say, we're going to file that criminal complaint shortly, and you will have that complaint will speak for itself, along with there'll be a booking photograph that will be available later today. But we don't have that yet available, and we're glad to take any questions you might have.
Let me just say one last thing, and we're going to wrap this up. Lori and I and the kids just feel so honored to have the privilege the good people of Pennsylvania have given us to be able to live in this house. This house functions as a welcoming place for Pennsylvanians to come and to learn and to celebrate and to be together. And that is a direct result of the extraordinary work that the staff does here at the governor's residence, led by Claire Ramsey. I want to just say they are traumatized by this as well. Lori and I spoke to them earlier today to let them know that they're part of our family as we are theirs. Many of them have been here through multiple administrations, some as long as 2 decades. And we want them to know how much they are appreciated. If you've ever come here on a tour or you've been privileged to be here for an event, it's a wonderful member of the governor's residence staff who greets you, who cares for you, who feeds you, and who makes sure that you enjoy your visit. And I just want to say a special thanks to them. They're going through a lot right now. They know that Laura and I have their backs, and it's going to take some time for them to work through this as well. But I told them we'll clean this up, we'll get it repaired, we'll get it rebuilt, we'll get rid of that smell of fire and smoke, and we'll be back very soon, and we'll be back to welcome the community into this residence with the smiles and the warmth of the people that make up this staff. So I want to thank all of you for your sensitivity here. For those who are celebrating Passover, I wish you a happy Passover. I know some are observing Palm Sunday and getting ready for Easter. I want to wish you the very best as well. I want to thank you for being here this afternoon.
For the record, the governor's mansion is owned by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, which I'm sure has fire insurance to pay for any repairs to the damages, with some subrogation from the accused if they are convicted of the crime. But more details are to come as the investigation continues and as the trial takes place later this year. In the meantime, please, if you disagree with any action from a politician on the right or left, contact their office to express your concern and possible solutions. Peacefully protest. Call upon your representatives and senators to impeach that person, but never ever act in such violence, no matter how much we might disagree. And from all of us here at Powered by Rainbows, we hope you have a safe Passover, happy Easter, and stay safe no matter where you land on the political scale. We are thrilled to hear that Josh Shapiro and his family are all safe, but this was a close call. If you'd like to support our show, check out ProfessorPride.com for hundreds of ways to show off your pride. Check them out now along with our LGBTQ books, magnets, pins, umbrellas, digital downloads, and more at ProfessorPride.com. Special thanks to our members and subscribers this month who proudly support our work providing LGBTQ education and resources. Please subscribe to our channel or click on this video to continue enjoying Powered by Rainbows.